Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. I am Tony Squares. As always, I'm joined by a man who has spent 10 years covering the business, now a writer for Sportskeeda, at least for this week alone, Mr. Robert Lentini himself. And today's a big show. We're covering big business. We're on the road to WrestleMania talking about the Usos and maybe a Prime logo in between. And we'll be covering Dominik Mysterio's wedding and, of course, ending the show with our gimmick matches of the week. It was a big deal, my friend Robert. Mercedes Moné was in your town, my hometown. Did you go to the show? Did you go to Big Business? They were handing out tickets at the door, my friend.
I did not go. I should have went, though. I regretted not going the second Mercedes Moné came out. I should have gone because the energy in the TD Garden looked incredible. Yeah. One of the only shows, one of the only non-pay-per-views for All Elite Wrestling that sold like really well. Yeah, just over 9,000, around 10,000 people, I think was the last number, which is great for them. For a Dynamite. So, but yeah, let's get into Mercedes Moné's debut. What did you think of it? Were you impressed by her promo? Did it leave something to be desired for you as the AEW fan? How did that promo make you feel? Were you excited about Mercedes Moné's arrival in All Elite Wrestling?
Well, I want to preface this by saying I am, as you said, the AEW fan, but I also love AEW for all the things that they mess up, for all the mistakes that they have. They're still a growing company. I've enjoyed my time with them so much for so many reasons. Mercedes Moné is someone I have truly admired since she was in NXT, because I got back into the world of wrestling kind of right before her debut in that world. So I got to see it all, for her versus Bayley, everything she's done in the main roster of WWE, and then, of course, the last few years where she's sort of been floating around having some injuries, and now to come to the company that I love the most and to be one of my favorite stars, to see the CEO. I love this new brand that she has. Yeah. I was so disappointed by that show, Big Business.
Oh,
wow. We talked last week about how we did not know. We were trying to predict who Mercedes Moné's first feud was going to be, and we were both wrong on our predictions, which is fine. We're not going to be mad because we didn't fantasy book correctly. But I expected just something to happen. She came out, gave a great promo, got the crowd going, and then nothing happened. And then at the end of the Willow Nightingale Riho main event match, which was a great match, I really enjoyed that, she came out to save Riho and Willow Nightingale from being beaten up by Julia Hart and Sky Blue. But if I had paid a ticket for that, if I had paid my money to see Mercedes Moné and all I got was a promo, I would have been extremely disappointed by everything there. I really wanted to see something moving forward, more than just a scare off. Like, you do a scare off at an end of a pay-per-view, like when D-Bry comes out or whatever, and it's a debut. Oh my God, that's Daniel Bryan, and that's the capper of the show. That's the button. But when we know this show is going to be all about Mercedes Moné, this is why we're buying the ticket. And all you get is an introductory promo and then a runoff at the end of the show for the last 2 seconds. And I'm sure she talked to the crowd afterwards and did that whole thing. I just expected more out of a wrestling show, out of the first debut of this person who has not been in a ring in so long. I wanted something more. I don't need a fight, because I know you're going to talk about Mercedes Moné first in-ring action coming this Friday or whatever it is. I needed something more. Were you let down at all by this, or am I putting too much faith into this?
Well, no, I thought, I'll get the positives I thought out of the way. Her presentation was great. The entrance, like the CEO, like you said, but her promo was kind of a big nothing burger. It was like, this is my dream. I love you guys. You love me. We're going to do this together. It's like, what, are you running for office? Or are you giving a wrestling promo? I was a little annoyed by that. And yeah, I wanted something more than Julia Hart and whoever else attacked her, Sky Blue. Like I wanted Britt Baker. I wanted someone who could talk, who can go back and forth with her. Julia Hart cut promos. I'm not aware. I know Sky Blue doesn't. So it's like we're limited a little bit there. Like it's not a big
about the
program.
Presentation of those 2 hours of Mercedes Moné in those 2 hours. Not looking towards the future, but like if you had purchased a ticket for this and that's all you got out of Mercedes Moné, would you have been disappointed?
Yeah, because the promo didn't deliver enough. It wasn't an impactful promo. She didn't call out anyone important. She just basically was like, I'm happy to be here. It was like, hello. All right, see you later. Like that was the promo, and I can understand why people would be pissed. I still would have enjoyed. I didn't hate it as much as you, because it's her introduction. It is not. I expected more too, but they just played it safe, and I guess that's okay. But I think they could have done something really impactful and had something go viral or something go social that everybody's talking about. I think they missed the boat. I think they just left. It's just a felt very vanilla and felt very WWE kind of, to be honest.
I think vanilla is a great word to describe it.
Yeah.
I do think vanilla is a great word to describe it, and that should never be associated with Mercedes Moné at all, because she is amazing in all capacities and can do so much that nothing ever baseline should be associated with her, especially her debut in her town when you center the entire show around her. This was a specialty Dynamite that had no specialty. And again, I'm not angry at Mercedes Moné. Like, I cannot wait to see what she does in AEW. But my headline last week about what we would be talking about this week was we are entering a new era of AEW, and nothing from this show screamed we're in a new era, except we might be in the Ospreay era, okay, where they want to restore the feeling. Bruv, I am the feeling. That was a promo. Can we talk about Will Ospreay for a second? What do you think about that interaction?
Well, absolutely. I didn't think he could cut promos. I thought that was like one of his weaknesses. Bruv, I was wrong. This guy knows how to talk when he's passionate about something, and just calling out D-Bry and saying, I can respect the man I'm in the ring with, but it's either my life or yours, and I don't plan on dying, bruv, was a killer line. That ruled. So I'm invested in this Daniel Bryan and Will Ospreay match at AEW Dynasty, correct? It's Dynasty,
not Delivery or whatever we were calling it.
Destiny, AEW Dynasty. That's going to be the match of the night already. That's just a given. So, but yes,
Will Ospreay might be the way the world title is going. It might be the main event of that pay-per-view.
Yeah, it probably should be. But Will Ospreay really impressed me with that promo, and just I think he's the future. He's the guy you build around. You build him up to All In, and he wins that championship. But just sticking to right now with him and Bryan Danielson, I think that's like the best thing they have going for me. That's what's got me the most invested. How about you? What is that the storyline for you on AEW that's got you hooked right now? Danielson,
that's the biggest thing that I took away from this week of television, which I thought had a lot of really good matches on it. I really liked what the Elite did with the Penta and Pac and Eddie Kingston. I'm excited for their match in Toronto. We'll talk about Toronto in a second, but Ospreay's promo and what they're building towards there, this is what I yearn for out of AEW. Give me weeks of a build so I can sink my teeth into something more than just the great wrestling when we get to the pay-per-view, which we will get with those two guys in the ring. I cannot wait to see it. And you're right. I was very happy to see Ospreay cut that promo. I love how his music has the built-in Ospreay chants to it. Like, it's just that guy's going to skyrocket to the top. The one thing that scared me, genuinely scared me, and this almost was the "It's Still Real to Me, Damn It" segment. They're building this based on the promo. They're building this match around the Tiger Driver, and how D-Bry said that was a move that wasn't necessary in Ospreay's match versus Omega. Ospreay brings it up in his promo. They're planting that seed to have that be a big part of their match at the pay-per-view. Right. D-Bry, as we know, has had severe injuries to his head and neck area. And I understand these two guys are great workers. They're safe people. They know what they're doing. They are professionals, and I am not. I do not want to see Daniel Bryan take a Tiger Driver. I do not want to see it faked. I do not want to see it like hinted at. I do not. And if you are dropping that in the promo, you are telling me this entire match is going to be built around that move. And we already saw him give it to whatever his name is. Neither of us can say his name. We already saw him give it to him in the last pay-per-view, and even that was scary when it happened. It's going to be even scarier when it's Bryan Danielson. Did that affect you at all?
Well, honestly, that's touching on one of my biggest concerns just in general with AEW is just the risk assessment in some of these moves. Is it worth it? Bryan Danielson should be protected at all costs. The guy's been injured like 10 times in AEW, not just in WWE. He gets injured all the time. He's never healthy. And he's always in like the anarchy in the arena matches. It's like, can you give this guy a normal singles match? Now we got to build the normal singles match around dropping him on his head. Like, can we just give this guy a normal singles match with Will Ospreay? It doesn't need that added thing. It's already there. It's like, who's the best in the world?
Yes.
The best wrestler in the world. It's either Will Ospreay or Bryan Danielson, and they don't need this added element. But I guess they're just trying to get Will Ospreay's move over. I don't know. I don't understand why this is so. Yeah, I'm not nervous because I am, because I was gonna say I trust Danielson, but then again, I just said 2 seconds ago that he's always injured. So you're right. I'm nervous too.
A little nervous. Wish that wasn't the main factor of this match, and it's looking like it will be. Other than that, though, I cannot wait to see what happens between those two guys and the build towards the future. Speaking of build towards the future, one last AEW subject before we jump into the world of WWE. Next week's Dynamite is going to be a big one in Toronto. It's obviously going to have Christian versus Adam Copeland, which is going to be a wonderful match. I love the video package they put together during Dynamite for that match. We also have Eddie Kingston facing Okada. I cannot wait to see that. I thought Okada looked great on Dynamite, and apparently that belt that Eddie Kingston has that neither of us know the name of is going to be up for grabs in that match. Interested to see if they put the belt on Okada this early or how that whole works out. And then, of course, your favorite match of the card next week. It's Jericho versus Hook.
Yeah, just Chris Jericho, once you get past the Judas entrance, is just a pit of despair on television right now. It's just god awful. And I loved Chris Jericho for years. I don't want to just like make this like he's not talented, but sometimes you need to go step away. Like he's got a Fozzy tour coming up. I can't wait for it. Just go on tour with Fozzy for a bit. I just can't wait to not see him on Dynamite for a few weeks. I just nothing against the man, like just as a human, just go away for a bit. Just I'm sick of it. The what have I become and the sing along, it's just forced and stupid. Everybody stopped liking that song over a year ago. But now we got him paired. He was paired with Hook on Dynamite. Now they're gonna have a singles match next week. And just if Hook wins, what does he get out of it? Nobody really cares about Chris Jericho at the moment.
Exactly.
If Chris Jericho beats Hook, Hook looks like an idiot. So it's just, I just have a huge issue. It's just like a vortex. You just get sucked into this Jericho orbit and nobody comes out the better ever. And whenever you get associated with Jericho as of late, nobody comes out better. But what do you think about this situation?
This is the worst thing I can say about any wrestler, and I'm wondering if you do the same thing. Do you fast forward through Jericho matches if you watch an AEW on a recording?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. And again, it's nothing against Jericho, the man. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And his out of the ring stuff aside, he's one of the greatest figures in AEW from a wrestling standpoint. He was the first champion. He came in and did everything he was supposed to do as the star of that company. And now it's just gotten to a point where I don't care anymore what happens to him, win or lose. And maybe it's because he's kind of a babyface now and he doesn't really have a faction anymore. I believe he's a lot more powerful as a heel guy. He has that corny shtick really down, and maybe this is sort of the start of a turn towards all that. But again, we're getting to the point where he might be the Big Show turn of the week. Like, I do not care when Chris Jericho is on my television screen, and that's a fall from grace from what he was even a few years back in AEW.
Absolutely, this wasn't always the case. He was awesome. His feud with Cody Rhodes back in the day was great. He's helped make many stars over the year.
Put MJF on the map.
A lot of people didn't like the singing thing. I did. I thought that was funny. A lot of people really hated that. Yeah, I love that too. But Jericho used to have his finger on the pulse of like what was cool or what would get over, and he's just really lost it. And I just would love for him to step away from it for a bit and then find it again, because I think it would help him. And I think it would help the whole situation if like we missed him a little bit and he came back in a couple months. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Speaking of, I didn't see Orange Cassidy this week. Did you?
No, I don't know. I don't think he was on the show. Was he?
Did they give him is he in Aruba, hopefully resting up, please?
I saw an online video of him dancing to Swerve Strickland's theme. So I don't know if that was on the Collision tapings, but I don't think he was on Dynamite, which is a blessing.
Which, by the way, really quickly, the Samoa Joe Wardlow championship. Wardlow. I mean, good for Samoa Joe to get that win, but Wardlow, again, that push towards this match, he did look powerful, but he obviously did not come away even with it was a clean win for Joe in that match. And then Swerve comes out looking like $1 million, ready to take on the world to get to Joe. I cannot wait to see what happens in that future. I do want better things for Wardlow. I did love the Adam Cole story time lead into that. I hope we get more of that because I think Adam Cole is a great promo. But that was pretty much it for Big Business. Not a lot of business on Big Business, in my opinion. Let's move on to WWE. Speaking of business, it's time to talk about the Prime logo in the center of the ring, my friend. For the longest time, forever, WWE has never had logos on the mat, kind of like what UFC does, where they have logos all over the place. Brock Lesnar was the only one to really get logos when he had Jimmy John's on his shorts, and now we have a big Prime logo bottle in the middle of the ring, the Logan Paul drink itself. What are your feelings as a WWE vet, as a man who's watched this for 30 years? What are your feelings about the Prime logo in the middle of the ring?
I couldn't hate it more. Just to lead off with that, I couldn't hate it more. But I understand it from a business perspective. I think Logan Paul on his impulsive podcast said, you know, it was Vince McMahon's era. He loved the canvas. You couldn't put any brands on it. It's a new era. Triple H, they're selling everything. There's Slim Jim ads before every match. It's presented by Progressive Insurance. It's all over the place. So I understand it. But just the idea, I want you to wrap your brain around this. We're at night 2 of WrestleMania. Roman Reigns hits a spear on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes kicks out. Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. All the pictures and everything, they're on a giant Prime bottle logo. And you just think of Logan Paul and one of the biggest WrestleMania moments of all time. I got to think of Logan Paul. Like, he's okay. He's a great wrestler, but just the idea of that logo being on every footage for, you know, decades to come. When you go back and watch it, you're going to see freaking Prime Energy logo when that company's out of business in 10 years. You know what I mean? I don't like it. So, but what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's the right move? I understand it from a business perspective, but I just think watching it, it's just, wow, we already know it's fake. And now it's like, wow, this is incredibly fake. They're fighting on an energy bottle.
I have very much enjoyed the masters at work on social media putting Prime logo everywhere they can on past WrestleMania moments, like Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre onto a Prime logo. I've really loved all of that. But let me ask you this: would you feel any differently if it was, say, the Slim Jim logo?
No, I don't. It's just the giant logo in the middle of the ring is. They're still fighting on a Slim Jim. There's Cody Rhodes. He locks in a figure 4 on top of a Slim Jim. Like, it's just, I can't get that image out of my head. But I think it's one of those things where in 2 years or in a year, it's just going to be where you accept it. But it's not on every show. It's just on premium live events. It's not on SmackDown and Raw. It's just on the PLEs.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. What do they get? I've noticed this past Friday's episode of SmackDown, I have never seen more advertisements thrown in, not in between commercial breaks, just during the show. In WWE, I haven't seen that in a long time, just because they're doing such good business. But with that comes with this stuff, which is insufferable. And AEW maybe could come off cool again to some fans because they're not watching commercials all day. That's my thoughts on it.
I understand that it's new era, new business, getting money, making money. I think this would not have such a negative effect if it wasn't the Prime logo bottle. I think.
Well, Logan Paul has.
I think Logan Paul has such a lot of people don't like him, put it that way. Yeah. And the fact that the first logo to go in the center of the ring is the Prime logo, I hope it's a bit. Like, I hope it's, or at least Logan Paul plays into it as a bit, because this could be a great heel move for how much the internet wrestling community hates this thing. Yeah. I think Logan Paul should go all about it. I think he should give Prime bottles to his opponents before he faces them in the ring. Like, I go all for it that you are the reason this is here, and just play into the heel shtick. I hope maybe it's a bit that eventually goes away. I doubt it will. I think it'll be here for the rest of our lives. But again, if you're not using this, then you have to use it.
Just to, like, if it was just for the United States Championship match and it was just his personal sponsor and it was for his match and they just put the logo on before his entrance and he stood and posed, that I would be awesome. That I would be with you. But it's for every match. So for WrestleMania, it's 8 hours. We got to look at a Prime logo, 4 hours Saturday, 4 hours Sunday. That's a little much. To me, that's a little much. But if they did it just for his match and Randy Orton hit him with the RKO on top of the Prime and won the U.S. title, fine. Yeah. But it's every match. It's Logan Paul in every match now, and I don't like it.
Well, let's talk about another match for WrestleMania. It's time to talk Uso v. Uso. Bob, I'll let you set this up, my friend. I believe we know what's happening with these two brothers heading into Mania.
Well, yes, Jey Uso issued a challenge this past Monday night on Raw. He challenged Jimmy Uso to a singles match. Now, Jimmy Uso has cost Jey Uso multiple title opportunities, all the way back at the Tribal Combat match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2023. And then last month with Gunther, Jimmy Uso attacks him and cost Jey Uso the title match right after he had a frog splash, or an Uso splash, and looked like he was going to win. So again, brother versus brother. But and I'm interested in this match because the way Jimmy Uso has been portrayed has been as a goof. He's just like the idiot of the bloodline. He's so like, I just don't see a scenario where Jey Uso loses this match. And I think they have a lot of work to do to make this as important as they want it to be, because it's like brother versus brother, Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. But it's like, yeah, but Jimmy Uso has been a jobber. So it's like the better brother versus the stiff is how I'm seeing it right now. So they have a lot of work to do to build it up. But this is like, my question to you is, I don't know if you watch WWE. You don't watch it as regularly, but you know of Jey Uso. He's got a huge push. The crowd loves him. Would you ever put him back in the bloodline? Or would you reunite the Usos? I think Jey Uso's kind of stepped out of the Usos in the bloodline shadow and become a single star. And I want to see him win this match and go on to win the IC title or the US title, go into something bigger. Would you ever reunite the Usos at this point or put him back in the bloodline?
At this point, no. I think it'd be a step back for Jey Uso if he went back to the bloodline. Reuniting the Usos, yes, but that happens years from now when we actually care about it, because they are one of the greatest tag teams of all time and such a fun team when they're in the ring together. However, for this match in particular, I agree Jey Uso should win, but you need to make Jimmy Uso from now until WrestleMania an absolute threat. And I think he needs to turn very sinister very fast. I think he needs to talk about bloodline. If you take the first part of that word, I think that needs to come into play when these two are fighting each other, because it is a brothers feud, and there is so much there that you can use, fodder that you can use in the video package leading up to this match to get us on board with how important this is. And I think from the oncoming weeks, and I believe they will do this, I think Jimmy Uso becomes a lot more sinister, a lot more evil, a lot more dangerous very, very fast. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of stipulation on this match as well, and we don't have a straight wrestling match here, because Jimmy needs to even the playing field against Jey, who has proven he's a great singles competitor. And I think he does that via dastardly things.
I think you just solved it. If you make this, give Jimmy Uso one more brutal attack, and says I'll see you in a steel cage at WrestleMania or something like that, I'm in. You just solved it for me. Well done, Tony Squares. Yeah, no, it's just a great call. Put a little stipulation, Hell in a Cell, something, or even just no DQ, so you can grab a chair or a kendo stick, something like that, even the odds, because it's just Jey Uso is just so much better as a single star. So but that's what they need to do for that match.
And I'm excited for it. I love both of these guys. I think I genuinely think they will go this way with the build, and I'm excited to watch this match. I'm excited to care about this match. I love both of these guys, and this is the right pairing for WrestleMania. You know what I mean? When we get to the build to WrestleMania, you look at the past years that have happened. This has been building for a while. This is the correct pairing, and I'm excited to see it finish at WrestleMania. Speaking of correct pairings and what we're going to do at WrestleMania, you want to talk about Liv Morgan, so it's time for It's Real to Me, damn it!
Yeah, this Liv Morgan is my It's Still Real to Me, damn it, for this week. She returned as the final entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble in January 27th. We're on March 14th. Yeah, we're on March 14th now. She's won one match since then. She defeated Zoe Stark in the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. So she did a great showing at the Royal Rumble, finished second, eliminated Jade Cargill. They never followed up on that. So then she loses to Becky Lynch to the Women's Elimination Chamber match. She finishes second. She's the second, the last superstar eliminated. Then she faces Becky Lynch on Raw, loses. So she's returned as the 30th entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble, said she's on a revenge tour and has done nothing but lose. I don't understand what they're doing with her, because Liv Morgan, say what you want. I like her SmackDown Women's Championship reign was kind of underwhelming, but she did defeat Ronda Rousey to win the title and then defeated her again, who was at the time a big star. Like she did have her moment, and we've seen her as a singles champion. It's like they don't have faith in her anymore, but my overall thing is, you don't have, like, what's going on with the women's tag team championships. If you're going to have Liv Morgan not win on singles, she should be reunited with Raquel Rodriguez, who also keeps losing. So let's put those two together and have something meaningful for those titles, because people care about Liv Morgan for whatever reason. She has a ton of fans, and it's just for why I'm choosing it as It's Still Real to Me is, like, I feel like they're just letting a lot of people down. They're just letting, like, they don't have a storyline for Liv Morgan that means anything going into WrestleMania. She's away for 6 months, comes back, and she's just losing. Like, that sucks. Like, that just shows that they didn't have a vision for her while she was gone, which I think is stupid, because she has millions of fans. Somehow she does. So I just think they're letting a lot of people down with what they're doing with her. And I'm just disappointed that I would have just rather have her come back as a tag team star with Raquel Rodriguez, and nothing about this revenge tour. She hasn't gone after Rhea Ripley, really, and that's the one who took her out. So it's just a lot. They haven't followed up on anything that they said they were going to follow up on, and it's just a letdown to me.
I can see you on those gymnasium bleachers now with those little glasses crying about Liv Morgan. I can see it. And I agree with you, man. Like, the number 30 return of the Royal Rumble should mean something. We got what it meant with Sami Zayn. Now,
Exactly.
it has not happened with Liv Morgan. Speaking of Sami Zayn, that was your It's Still Real to Me, damn it, last week about Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, who was going to face Gunther at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn ended up beating Chad Gable. I want to recap, or not recap, but sort of let me get your thoughts on that, because it really hurt you last week to talk about this. So now that we know the result, what are your feelings?
I don't think it was the right choice. Just the second Sami Zayn won that match, I'm like, it should have been Gable. I don't know how you felt about it, but it's just Sami Zayn went through the entire gauntlet. You thought it was going to be Chad Gable that was going to go through it. It was the other way around.
Yep.
And it's just like there was like a little bit ass backwards here. It's like Sami Zayn returned as the number 30th entrant, has done nothing but lose, doesn't have any momentum. Gable has the storyline and the momentum, and they go with Zayn. So it's like, what's Chad Gable doing at WrestleMania now? Like, what is he doing? Because I thought he was going to finally have his show. Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's always going to be in that 6-pack challenge with Otis for the Judgment Day's titles. Like, that sucks. I wanted Chad Gable himself, the man, to have a moment at WrestleMania finally after all these years. And like I said, Sami Zayn had a moment last year. He was in the main event of night 1. So it's just like, and he's not beating Gunther. I don't think. I think Gunther's going to hold on till SummerSlam now. Maybe Gable will face him at SummerSlam. But I just think there's a huge missed opportunity for WWE and Chad Gable there. It would have been a really cool moment, a feel-good moment at WrestleMania 40.
Well, to all the people watching this video, please send Bob your flowers, your tissues, send him some chocolates. Cheer this man up, because we do like wrestling. We've been pretty negative on this show, but we do really enjoy wrestling. That's why we're doing this, okay? We watch it every week, not out of anger, but out of love. Speaking of love and speaking of wrestling, it's time for the social superstars of the week. This is a new segment that we're debuting because we've noticed that wrestling no longer takes place just in the ring, but rather on the keyboards as well, and in social media. And there have been some wonderful social media moments each and every week, and we're going to use this segment every week to sort of talk about them and talk about how much we love or hate what's going on in the wild world of the internet. So the social superstars of the week. Well, let me start off by this. Congratulations, Dominik Mysterio, on getting married this past week. Bob, take it away.
Dominik Mysterio got married this week, and this man is such a great heel. I want to show this to everyone, that this man got booed at his own wedding. Take a look.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you, everyone, again for coming out.
So this Dominik Mysterio is such a great heel that his family even plays along with it and boos the hell out of him his own wedding. He tried to give a speech. Every word he said, booed out of the building. But another guy to me, we said we're going to be positive. I'm going right back to negative. They don't have anything for him to do at WrestleMania. So, like, this guy's such a great heel, but they got nothing for this guy to do at WrestleMania. It's just very, very disappointing. But that video is hilarious. Just shows how popular, just how ridiculously over everything WWE is right now. That even at his own wedding, maybe they all discussed it beforehand, but it was just a natural, hilarious boo that everybody enjoyed.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. I will say he broke kayfabe a little bit by dancing with his mother, but we understand he's getting married. He's allowed to do that. Dominik Mysterio, good for him. It made me feel good. That moment made me feel good because it was just very wholesome from a clear wrestling family and a lot of wrestlers in attendance. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm happy Dominik's enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's move on to another bit that came out. The Rock has just been destroying social media recently with these lengthy promos so long that the sun sets while he's giving them. Bob, what do you got to say about The Rock?
Well, The Rock's social media promos of next to Drew McIntyre, they're like my favorite thing going right now, because Drew McIntyre is also killing it on social media. He will I'm sure he'll make this segment next week. He's uploading videos nonstop. But The Rock uploaded a video before SmackDown in Dallas wearing a cowboy hat, looking absolutely ridiculous in front of a rodeo. I don't know what the hell he was doing, just tight black jeans, just looked unbelievably obnoxious, and just went in on Cody Rhodes' dog. Listen to this.
Rhodes, you chicken shit goof, you, and also your goofy ass dog Pharaoh. That's his name, Pharaoh. Hey Pharaoh. Hey Pharaoh. Don't call that dog Pharaoh. Call him shithead. That's what you should call him.
just calling Cody Rhodes' dog Pharaoh a shithead, a piece of shit, calling Cody Rhodes a goof, just unfiltered, just F-bombs galore. Fuck is the direct. Yeah, it's just off is the direction you can fuck is one of the lines, and there's just a million things there. But just I don't know. I've never seen a man just hate a dog for no reason so much. He just loathes Pharaoh, and he never mentions it on TV. Just every social media promo, he just takes like 20 digs at Pharaoh. And I just think The Rock, I just think we're so lucky that we want Cody thing happened, because we would have gotten none of this. And I just keep coming back to that. This is one of my favorite versions of The Rock that I've ever seen, and we're getting it out of nowhere. Like The Rock versus Roman Reigns would have been okay, would have been tolerable, would have been excellent. It would have been a cool aura. But it would have, it's just this
would have been the same old WWE.
Yeah. And the Roman Reigns would have been heel, and we all would have cheered for The Rock, and everybody knows The Rock's not beating Roman Reigns. So it's just like, this is prime Hollywood Rock, ultimate douche. I love everything about it. I just cannot get enough about it. And what are your thoughts on The Rock just dismantling Cody Rhodes' dog on social media? What are your thoughts on The Rock's presence on social media? And then we'll talk about
the dog never did anything wrong. I don't think Pharaoh deserves this at all. But I will say I'm right there with you. I'm thoroughly enjoying when The Rock came back and we thought it was going to be Rock versus Roman. I made a bunch of videos on social media. They got a lot of traction, just making fun of the whole thing. Same old WWE, how Cody was getting screwed over. And whether this was the plan all along or whether they reacted to what was going on online, it has formed into an amazing evolution of what we could have ever expected out of The Rock. This is what we've always wanted. This is the best version of The Rock when we go back to the Attitude Era. Those are the clips we share. Okay, is when The Rock was lambasting people and going crazy with his rock stuff. And the fact that Rock might be bringing his guitar back soon and doing a little bit of rock songs when they go into either Memphis or Nashville, wherever they're going. Like, I can't wait to see how good The Rock is going to be at bashing these people. And yes, some of the lines are corny. Some of the stuff he says to Seth is corny, but that's part of the shtick. It fits in so well that he's this corny jackass,
Yeah, and then when he's not corny, he's like evil now. Because in his promo on SmackDown, he said to Cody, like, you're a mistake. That you were born 20 years after your brother and sister. You're a mistake. That's why Cody slapped him in the face. So they're getting personal with it, and The Rock is just taking these unnecessary digs at dogs and family members, and it's excellent. It's just everything I want to see in a heel. He's a wonderful heel. He's an amazing, one of the greatest baby faces of all time. But when you get him like for 6 months as a heel, it's perfect. He's just legendary at it. It's been perfect.
And those Dominik Mysterio and The Rock. Dominik Mysterio and The Rock are the social superstars of the week. Let's end the show with our gimmick matches. It's time for the big show turn of the week. And this goes to the Acclaim that was a part of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and then Jay White and then the Gun Club turned on him. So why isn't the turn the Gun Club? Because those guys matter, okay? Jay White matters. The Acclaim does not matter anymore. The fact that they were maybe going to be a bad guy and now they're a good guy because they took a couple of chair shots trying to save Darby Allin, they don't matter. You know why they don't matter? Because Max Caster stinks, and his social personality stinks, and everything he does on Twitter stinks. Everything he does in the ring stinks. As a human being, Max Caster, it looks like he stinks, and I'm ready for him to be gone because I like Bowens. I love Billy Gunn, and Max Caster has nothing for me. So it's the big show turn of the week because we do not care about Max Caster one iota. Bob, time for the Mankind spot of the week.
Yeah, this goes to the great Darby Allin. We couldn't give it to him last week because we gave it to somebody else. It's going to him this week for his coffin drop and the man against Jay White going for it, missed it on the ring apron, splatted on the floor. This man's climbing Mount Everest in a month. I don't understand it. Why are you taking
open wounds?
Why are you taking the world's biggest risks before you take the world's biggest risk? Like, plan your crazy spots for when you're not about to climb Mount Everest. They didn't need to write him off television either. He could have been written off television with the glass spot at Revolution.
Literally, he has open wounds in this match. He has open wounds, and he's fighting on a mat full of sweat and blood and hair and skin, and it's just getting all up in there. And then he takes that coffin drop. Bob, 4% of people who climb Mount Everest don't come back, and Darby's going into this with who knows how many broken bones. I know we want to go fast in this gimmick segment of the week, but Darby, please be safe. It's all we ask.
Take it easy, man. Like, we want to see you in 5 years. Take it easy, will you? All right, I'm going to go on to the job. Oh, I got a jobber of the week, too. I have a jobber of the week.
Who's the jobber of the week?
We're sticking with the jobber of the week, and we're sticking with AEW. We're going with my man, John Cruz, with a Z, because that's when you know he's cool. John Cruz, he paired up with 2 other schlubs to face the Elite. They got demolished on Collision. I just want to say John Cruz as an excuse to show this clip of him diving at Samoa Joe.
We have one more, a new gimmick. It's the heartbreak of the week. And if you haven't heard on social media, Lana and Miro have broken up, and it's sad. It is genuinely sad. This is one of the couples in both WWE and AEW that were together for a long time. And all I got to say is, I'm available, Lana. And let's move on to the headlines of the week. This is where we tell you. This is where we tell you what the world will be talking about in both promotions at this time next week. Bob, I'm going to kick it over to you and the show with the WWE headline of next week.
We are finally going to know what Bianca Belair is doing at WrestleMania. We have had no idea what she's going to do. We don't know what Jade Cargill is going to be doing, and we have no idea what Tiffany Stratton is going to be doing. I think either one of those two, Stratton or Cargill, are going to be facing Belair at WrestleMania, not for a title, just as a showcase match, and I think that will be fine. But we're finally going to have an idea what Bianca Belair, the EST, is going to be doing at WrestleMania, because as of now, she's doing nothing.
All right, there you go, Bianca Belair. Let's figure it out. Bob's whole road to WrestleMania is throwing questions at it. Yeah, you gave me the Rock and Roman figured out, but what about everybody else? There's 22 more matches you got to do.
Exactly.
The AEW headline of the week from me, and this has to do with what I'm projecting Toronto's Dynamite to be. But I do think Adam Copeland and Christian are going to give us a match that is considered a match of the year candidate. I am very excited to see what these two bring. I don't believe they're going to use this match to build something for a future pay-per-view. I do think this story somewhat ends here, and I don't know who comes out on top, Adam Copeland or Christian. I don't know if Kill Switch finally turns back into Luchasaurus or whatever. I've loved everything Christian has been building. I love this Adam Copeland that I think has some fear in him and some strength in him and some anger in him, and they know that they want to put on a show in Canada, and this is going to be a huge Dynamite. Talk about selling tickets for big business. They're going to sell some good tickets for Toronto, and I think these two guys the pressure is on them to deliver here, and I know that they will. I think that, again, could be a match of the year candidate, but that's all we got for this week. The ridiculously lame wrestling show. Oh, I lied to you. We do have one more thing. It's time for This Week in Ryback.